This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
You're tuned in to the TCSF podcast with Big Z, coming straight to you from the 606 Media Studios, powered by True Chicago Sports Fans. This is episode 297. We're going to talk about the Chicago Cubs and White Sox home opener and Illinois basketball today. And you only got me today. The boys are busy. JC's working. Ivan got called into daddy duty. So it's just me for a quick ride around what we're going to talk about. So don't forget to go to 606media.com to snag your official TCSF podcast t-shirt. Check out our exclusive For the Love of Sports line. We have some No Water on the Weekend merch as well on there. You can also watch all the episodes we have, True Chicago Sports Fans and in Podsicated straight there. So go ahead and swing by, buy some merch, help us out, put some coin in our pocket so we can continue to give you the best content out there in Chicago. So go ahead, 606media.com, your ultimate source for everything that we do. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, go ahead and smash and subscribe button, hit the little bell button so you get notifications every time we go live. Anytime there's breaking news, me and the boys will get on the screens and get in your face and tell you what's going on. So definitely check that out. Go ahead, Facebook, YouTube, on Twitch. Go ahead and get that subscription button and that bell. If you're listening on the podcast app, go ahead and give us a 5-star review, and it means the world to the world. Keeps us up on the charts. Same thing on YouTube. Go ahead, drop some comments, drop some love. It really helps us out. So again, talked about in Podsicated Big Z. Dropped an episode about 10 days ago. New episode with Evie Kato, a comedian from Humboldt Park. Transitioning from being a nurse now to a comedian. That's the latest episode up there. It's about 45 minutes. Get you in and get you out, especially on that drive to work. And then you can check out the last 13 episodes as well. So there's great content out there with great interviews. Go ahead and check that out in Podsicated with Big Z on all socials. I mean, anywhere you can get your podcast. So let's get ready and talk about what makes Chicago great, which is our Chicago sports culture and beyond. So let's get started with our Chicago Cubs. The beloved Cubs have a hope and but already facing adversity with some injury drama, right? During the WBC, Seiya Suzuki, got injured and he is out for opening day. He suffered a knee injury during the WBC, the World Baseball Classic. So he was coming off a monster year of 32 home runs, 103 RBIs. So it's a huge loss to start the season. This lineup it's going to be a dangerous lineup. A lot of guys are literally coming back. Not much change going on over there. But you're going to make that adjustment. Like who's going to play right field? So who is the next guy up? Who's the next man up? And it's going to be veteran Michael Conforto who gets the call, right? He was a non-roster invite, and now he's an opening day roster starter. So like it's next man up mentality. All right. So if we're looking at the entire roster for the Cubs, let's start off with our DHs. Looks like Ballesteros is going to be there. Seiya's obviously out. You also have Matt Shaw that can fill in there for a designated hitter. Him and Conforto will be moving around into right field. I'm assuming Matt Shaw might play some third base as well. But hopefully he can make the adjustments into right field. I don't know how many outings he got during spring training, but to give him that opportunity to use his big bat would be great for the Chicago Cubs. In center, obviously, your captain, my captain, PCA, manning center field platooning, taking care of business there. Kevin Alcantara's got sent to the minors. So, again, they have some issue at depth in the outfield. Ian Happ, being the stud that he is in left field, is continuing to be there. Shortstop, Dansby Swanson. Again, just really good defensive shortstop. I need his numbers to come up on the offensive side. But again, if you look at his numbers, what he did in Atlanta, we used stashed towards the end of the lineup and covered with a lot of stars where it didn't make a difference that much to depend on him. What can he do this year? I mean, his glove is going to be great if he can stay healthy. That's the key. But can Swanson put up some bigger numbers to help out what's going on, especially with Suzuki going down? the big signing, the big dude, Alex Bregman at third. He's going to be manning the hot corner. Expect big numbers from this guy, especially at Wrigley Field. I really, really like the signing. They were trying to sign him a couple years ago before he signed with Boston. Now he's here. He's already been a presence in the clubhouse. When he got traded or signed, I'm sorry, he asked for film on all these guys that are going to play with him so he can look at their tendencies and so forth and try to help them out, make them better hitters. He's a veteran presence in this clubhouse and will be able to lead by example, lead by, hey, this is what great pedigree does to a team to get you to that championship level. Second base, Nico Horner manning it as usual. First base is going to be Michael Bush and Tyler Austin backing him up. And then catchers, you got Carson Kelly, Miguel Amaya, and Moises Ballesteros being a battery. So Carson Kelly, Miguel Amaya, and Moises Ballesteros. So you've got two righties and a lefty. Again, carrying three catchers. Sounds familiar. In the bullpen, obviously, Danny Palencia having a great WBC is going to be your closer. Phil Malton, Caleb Thibar, Hobie Milner, Hunter Harvey, Jacob Webb, Colin Ray, Porter Hodge, Ben Brown, and Jordan Wicks round off the bullpen. And then you also have a rotation of Kate Horton, Matthew Boyd, Edward Cabrera, Shota Imena, James Tyone, Colin Ray, Jordan Wicks, and Justin Steele. Now, a couple of these guys are still coming off injury, just like Justin Steele, so we don't know his timetable yet. So again, the Cubs need to come out of the gate really, really quickly, so that way they're not behind the eight ball, trying to chase the Brewers, who will be a formative team in the Central. So it's going to be fun. The Cubs season is going to be a fun one. This is going to be one where they're going to try to push to get to the championship series, where you can see a number of teams, whether it's the Dodgers or the Mets or a surprise team, right? We're looking, or it could be the Padres, right? There's a lot of teams, the Phillies out there, right? There's a lot of teams that are going to be trying to get that championship before and if or there is a lockout, right? So that's a big thing, right? So for me, I'm looking at if we can get 92 wins, 94 wins out of this Cubs team, I think this is a great place to start. I have them winning the Central. I want them to win the Central. That way they have an easier path in the playoffs. All we need is a lot of health. We need a lot of these guys that are coming back from injury to be able to contribute as soon as they come back. Seiya coming back, I think they said after the Cleveland series. So if I were to go back and look at the upcoming games, you look at the Cleveland series, you're looking at what? All right. So the Cubs start this Thursday. Myself and Ivan will be at opening day. I think JC will be joining us as well. This Thursday, 1:20, March 26th. Weather looks favorable except for the rain. So we'll be there walking around getting reactions for our Cub fans and then at the game. But so they have Washington for 3, the Angels for 3, and then they go they go over there to Ohio to play the Guardians in Cleveland. So you're looking at 3 series when he's coming back. So it doesn't look like a long injury timeout for him, but at the same time, we want him to get back in the groove of things. He was doing well at the WBC. So for the Cubs, it's going to be a fun season. Meet us there. We're going to get there super early. Myself and Ivan will get there. We'll see what time he can get there as well. And we'll go around different locations and take live reactions and predictions from all of the Cub fans that'll be in attendance. Again, it's going to be a rocking opening day for the Chicago Cubs this Thursday, 1:20. So we'll probably get there maybe like on 10 a.m. and be able to interact with all of you guys. We're looking forward to it. And you got to tell us, what is your prediction for your Chicago Cubs? How many games will they win? That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to see. Put that in the comments. DM me, DM Ivan. Tell us how much you want these Cubs to win. And what's going to be the biggest hurdle for them, right? Who's going to be the team that's going to give them the most trouble? Is it going to be the Brewers? Is it going to be the Reds? or is it going to be a team from the East and the West? The Braves, the Phillies, the Mets. Is it going to be the Dodgers and the Padres and the Giants? Right? Who is going to be the team that's going to give the Cubs the most trouble? What will the matchups look like? Right? So that's what we're looking at. The Brewers, like I said, have a pretty good, decent team out there. They have really good players. You have Yelich and Churio and Contreras and Mazeroski and Terang. Lots of great guys up there. But again, I think this Cubs team is hungry. You got a veteran that's going to lead by example, lead by showing you guys how to do this. So I'm really liking this Cubs team. It's going to be exciting. Go Cubs, go. And we'll see you on Thursday for that. So I'm going to take a quick break real quick. On the flip side, we're going to talk Chicago White Sox baseball. And we'll see. There's a questionable move that they made. So we'll talk about that in the other side of the break. So we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Hey there, Chicago enthusiasts. Are you ready to take your fandom to the next level? The True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast has got you covered with some serious cool merch that screams Chicago pride. From cozy sweaters to trendy tank tops, we got it all. Show off your love for the city with our iconic red, white, and blue logo, or stand out with our exclusive collection for the love of sports. Whether you're lounging at home, breaking a sweat at the gym, or cheering on your team at a game, our gear is a must-have for all you diehard Chicago sports fans out there. Don't hesitate. Visit bonfire.com/store/606-media-store/ or simply just click the link in the description and snag your gear ASAP. Get ready to make some noise, show your pride, and embrace the Chicago spirit with True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast merch. Designed for you, the ultimate fan, for the love of sports. Hey guys, it's Steven.
And this is Sean, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans.
Don't forget to listen to No War on the Weekend. New episodes on Monday. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, so we're going to go do a couple of shots. So let's kick it back over to Big Z.
Welcome back to the TCSF podcast with Big Z, Solo Dolo today. And segment number 2, we're going to talk about our White Sox. All right, the White Sox making news. Jared Kelenic is cut from the open day roster, former top prospect, hitting 179 this spring, wants to start, now is fighting for his career. This is what rock bottom looks like for the former top 5 pick. This is crazy. This guy was top 5 and he's cut from the open day roster. We'll see if he goes back to the minors or he ends up on another team. More news. Mike Vassell is undergoing Tommy John surgery, out for 2026. He looks to be an integral part of the White Sox rotation. So it's another hit to already thin pitching staff. They do have a lot of guys that are on prove-it deals. They have not kept none of the young pitchers on the roster. They're going to bring them up a lot later. So your opening day starter is Shane Smith. Rotation includes Sean Burke, Anthony Kay, Davis Martin, and Eric Fetty. Good old Eric Fetty, who bounced around after we traded him. No, like I said, no big names. All of it is a lot of prove-it guys. Some of these guys are going to be flipped. If Eric Fetty gets back to being Eric Fetty of the White Sox, where he was valuable, and towards the trade deadline, they traded him to, I believe it was St. Louis. We didn't get much back in that trade. That was, in my opinion, one of the worst trades that gets made. But again, if these guys are there to prove it and end up on a contender, we can see them putting up pretty good numbers. But again, we have a lot of young guys that are trying to prove it in year 2, in year 1 for the White Sox. So before we start talking a little bit more stuff like that, but let's look at the depth chart. Lenin Sosa, it looks like an odd man out. Nowhere to put him on the field. So he's going to be designated to being just a hitter. Designated here. He did lead the White Sox in home runs last season. But he's a what is it? What's that called? A multifaceted tool or Swiss Army knife, where he can play first, he can play third, he can play short, he can play second. They put him in the out. He can play everywhere. But he's not that good to keep him on the field, right? He does a little bit of everything. Looks like Austin Hayes and Brooks Baldwin will share the load in right field. And then obviously Luis Angel Acuna, who had a pretty good spring, hitting over 400, had 1 home run, OPS over 1,000, is going to be your starting center fielder, replacing Lou Bob, who is now with the Mets, right? So you have Acuna, Baldwin, Hill that can play center field. In right field, you have old man Benintendi. I do not expect him to stay with the team throughout the season. If he does get to a pretty good start, expect him to be traded. We have Austin Hayes, another veteran that can be in left field, and obviously Brooks Baldwin, who's going to be covering all these positions in the outfield. So again, the outfield is the biggest worry for me because there's not a lot of power there. Luis Angel Acuna was not looked at as a major league power hitter. He's 5'7", 181. But if you get on base and he's fast, he can do other things, steal base, get on, put some pressure on the defense that way. At shortstop, you got Colson Montgomery. Can he be the Colson Montgomery of the second half, where he was one of the league leaders in a lot of categories? You also have Chase Mydroff that can play a little bit of shortstop, and Luis Angel as well, who can play some shortstop as well. So for me, Colson number 12, if he can put up numbers like he did last year, look out. If he can give you 20 to 25 homers this year, that'd be a great plus. But I'm looking about 15 to 19 homers from Colson. Again, when he gets hot, man, those homers just fly off his bat. Third base, now a veteran, Miguel Vargas. He's going to be manning third base. This is his job to lose. Look at him to maybe put his roots down now at third base. Now that he knows the job is his, he had 1 year at the hot corner. Colson Montgomery will back him up. Lenyn Sosa will back him up, and Curtis Mead can also play third. In my opinion, Colson Montgomery will be moving to third once Cholowski gets into the major leagues after the White Sox draft him this summer. You'll see Cholowski on the fast track to getting up with the club in the next couple of years, moving Colson to third. Colson has a big enough arm to play third, and the skill set as well. So definitely look out for that in the near future. Second base, you got Chase Mydroff, Lenyn Sosa. Like I said, Swiss Army Knife can play anywhere. Acuna can play there as well, and Brooks Baldwin. So the White Sox have a lot of these players that are multifaceted, can play a lot of different positions. So look at, if you need to rest a guy, you don't have to worry about the defensive side. I think defensively, the White Sox are set on the infield, and rounding off first base. One of the biggest acquisitions is Murakami. When you talk about Murakami, he had some power in the WBC. A home run a couple of days ago in his spring training debut. He's going to be an X factor, right? He's on a short-term deal. I believe it's 2 years, and it has an opt-out. So look at Murakami to put up some big numbers. He's 6'2", 213 pounds. He's 26, so he's pretty young coming over. So look, I expect this guy should be able to hit 25 to 30 home runs if he doesn't get figured out very quickly. And once he gets figured out, can he make that adjustment? You're going to see that, like I said, the hitters are always ahead of the pitchers early on in the season, and then the pitchers make that adjustment. Or is it the other way around? Is it? We'll see. I have no idea one way or the other, right? We never know. We've seen this team lose 100 games, and then we've seen this team get a couple 60-something wins last season. Can they build on that? Your catching situation, that is what really surprising. They signed Reese McGuire, who played for the Cubs, played for the White Sox, was literally on the Brewers roster a couple of days ago. He got released. You have Edgar Carroll. You got Corey Lee, Kyle Teal, and now McGuire. Kyle Teal pulled his hamstring in the WBC. He'll be out 4 to 6 weeks. He should be progressing very quickly, but you have to bring him back slowly because hamstrings can linger throughout the season. And if you're a White Sox fan, you know what I'm talking about. Everybody from that last rebuild had hamstring issues. So Teal can take his time getting back. We have a pretty good platoon of catchers. Edgar Carroll, definitely good catcher, can put the bat to the ball and get some home runs. Reese McGuire is going to be a platoon guy, a veteran guy there, and Corey Lee might be the odd man out. He might be traded because there's no reason to keep 4 catchers on your roster. I know Kyle Teal's on IL, but Corey Lee might be the guy that gets traded uh, rather quickly if Kyle Teal was able to recover very quickly. So it's going to be next man up mentality. They do have um, a lot of guys in the minor leagues that can come up and step up. The White Sox are rebuilding. We know what they are. All right, let's continue with the bullpen. Another signing, Sir Anthony Dominguez will be your closer. You got Jordan Leisure, Jordan Hicks, Grant Taylor, Sean Newcomb, Tyler Gilbert, Prelander Baroa, Chris Murphy. Like I talked about, Mike Vass was out for the year, and Jedickson Paez rounding out your bullpen. Not big names except for Sir Anthony Dominguez and Grant Taylor, who you saw, and Jordan Leisure that you saw last year. Jordan Leisure being more of a veteran. Grant Taylor, 23, turning 24 this year. One of the young bucks that will be in the bullpen. And then your rotation, like I mentioned earlier, Shane Smith, Sean Burke, Anthony Kay, Davis Martin, and Eric Fetty. Drew Thorpe can be used as well in there. Kyle Busch is still on the IL for 60 more days. Again, these young bucks are coming in, coming out, and they look to make some moves. Just the quick things. Let's see. Jonathan Cannon has moved to the minors. Any other names I'm trying? Wilkerman Gonzalez, who should be coming up pretty soon, is in the minors. Let's see. Tanner McDougal, wow, moved to the minors. And let's see who else. And other names I can think of that would be surprising. Nope. Everybody else is where they should be, right? So again, the White Sox, for me, I am looking to win 75 games. That should be a good marker to continue to improve. 80 is pushing it. 80 is if they get to a hot start, they get a couple win streaks. If they can bring up the kids that can help out and the pitching staff. If you can bring them up by mid-May, that'll be a boost. Or if they're going to wait till the trade deadline to once they make, if they move on from Eric Fetty and some of these veteran pitchers, do they bring up the young kids faster than expected, right? So there's a lot of pitching opportunity for these guys, whether it's a veteran or a young buck. It's going to be a fun season for the White Sox. They played pretty good in that second half. They didn't lose as many one-run games. They were in it. They had a lot of comeback wins. They were fun to watch. They weren't those miserable 120 loss games, White Sox. So we're going to go both opening days. We'll be there for the White Sox home opener. We'll be walking around at the tailgates. So you'll see us in the lot. We'll tell you what lots we're in. We'll walk around, talk to everybody that's excited about the White Sox baseball and the home opener. I know like a lot of White Sox tailgates that'll be going on. So we'll be going on in there. And if you're going to go, hit us up. We'll meet up and we'll get your live reaction. You can give us your predictions. We'll do all that. And that'll be next Thursday. What's the week after that? So, boom, 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 boom. Move back. Give me all the. Here we go. Obviously the White Sox open the season on the road against the Brew Crew. So we're looking at a home opener. It is going to be against the Blue Jays Thursday, April 2nd at 3:10. I'm hoping for great weather. That's one of the things about Chicago baseball. You never know what the weather is going to be like on opening day. I've been to opening days where it started 55 degrees, 60 degrees, 65 degrees. And then like by fifth inning, it was, snowing, cold, blistering, getting all four seasons, just like in Chicago. I've had, sunny opening days and then it just starts snowing. Like I've had 80-degree days. It's nuts. You don't know what you're going to get from home opener, whether it's the White Sox or the Cubs. So against the Blue Jays, we're looking to start the season against the American League champions. Before that, we have the Marlins, and we open the Brew Crew on Thursday, March 26th at 1:10. So that's 3 days from now. So the Cubs fans will be cheering for the White Sox fans for the first 3 games, so that way they can get ahead on the standings. So again, let me know what you think the White Sox are going to do this season. Let me know your win total. Let me know what you think of the team, what you think of Chris Getz and his moves lately. Let me know what you think about the catcher situation. Lots of stuff that's going on with the White Sox. And I'm excited to talk more White Sox baseball as it comes along. Again, we're going to be both at home opener for White Sox and the Cubs. So we're going to take another small, short break. On the flip side of the break, we're going to talk a little bit about Illini basketball. We'll get you updated, caught up on what's going on with the Illini, and we'll get you in and out, and that'll be it for today. So again, it's just me today. Ivan is called to daddy duty. You got JC at work, so that way he can come to the home opener. But we'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Hey there, Chicago enthusiasts. Are you ready to take your fandom to the next level? The True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast has got you covered with some serious cool merch that screams Chicago pride. From cozy sweaters to trendy tank tops, we got it all. Show off your love for the city with our iconic red, white, and blue logo, or stand out with our exclusive collection for the love of sports. Whether you're lounging at home, breaking a sweat at the gym, or cheering on your team at a game, our gear is a must-have for all you diehard Chicago sports fans out there. Don't hesitate. Visit bonfire.com/store/606-media-store/, or simply just click the link in the description and snag your gear ASAP. Get ready to make some noise, show your pride, and embrace the Chicago spirit with True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast merch. Designed for you, the ultimate fan, for the love of sports.
Hey guys, it's Steven.
And this is Sean, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans.
Don't forget to listen to Nowhere on the Weekend. New episodes on Monday. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, so we're going to go do a couple of shots. So let's kick it back over to Big Z.
TCSF podcast with Big Z today. And let's talk some Illinois basketball. I know we've been slacking on that, so we all apologize for that. But Illinois basketball game one in the tournament destroyed Penn 105-70. Immediate statement game. I know they kind of limped into the tourney by losing in the Big Ten tournament and some blown leads late in the season. Definitely hurt Illinois as far as seeding wise, but they came in, they took care of business against Penn. 105-70, that 30-point win. Then they come out and then they beat VCU, right? So let's look at the Penn game first. If you look at who took over, you have I'm really bad with names, so just bear with me. If you've been listening for a while, I've been butchering names for 297 episodes. David Murkachev, I'm bad with that. Sorry. Yeah, 29 points, 17 rebounds, definitely dominated. 11 for 17, 4 for 7 from 3-point land, and 3 out of 4 for free throws. You had Izvicic. Wow, I'm really bad with this. Your center had 12 points, 3 from 3 from free throw, 1 from 4 from 3-point line with 7 rebounds. Colin Boswell added 13. Keen Wagler added 18. Ben Humatoris. I'm really bad. I'm sorry. Butchering these names. Had another 12. Again, this is an Illini that's not depending on one star. They're depending on getting multiple guys in double figures so that they beat you as a complete team. In the next game where they beat VCU, you had a 76-55 victory, and this one you had Ivisic. I think I'm saying that right, with 14, Boswell with 12, Wagler with 14, Stojakovic came through with 21. Again, you're going to find different guys coming in and scoring more than others, different games. So you don't know who's going to beat you. And again, Illinois is getting hot at the right time, definitely doing their thing in the tournament when it counts. Definitely a big time. Now, here's the thing. VCU shot 21.9% from threes. Definitely something that you take account. Either it's playing really good defense or they had a bad shooting night, right? So Illinois was really good in that game where they defensively shut them down, locked it down on the 3-point line. That's what you're going to have to do because you have a different set of guys scoring double figures all the time and definitely rebounding, playing team ball. So why do we think Illinois can keep winning? Balanced scoring, I've been saying. You're averaging 4 players in double figures. You're not relying on just one guy to dribble the basketball or to make plays or everyone just standing around. you have to all right, someone's gonna score, right? So on defense, you got to play very, very tight on these guys. And at some point, if you move the ball very good, you're gonna have a player that's gonna come up and be the poison to that team. They held VCU to 55 points. They have very good perimeter defense. And in March Madness, defense is huge. As we've seen how Florida went down, that defense was pretty good on that last play. Can we say that Florida, that last second play was drawn up incorrectly or executed incorrectly? Lots to say there. But right now, the Illini looks pretty good, and they will be facing a pretty good team, right? Which is Houston, the number 2 seed in the Sweet 16 matchup. So can they be a legitimate Final Four threat, or are they going to get exposed by Houston? That is going to be what's going to be coming up next for the Illini basketball team. So I'm looking forward to see this. I'm trying to see when the next game for them is. NCAA basketball. All right, so let's look at the bracket, and let's look. Where are we at? Let me make this full screen so I can see what's going on. All right, so bracket. All right, bear with me, peoples. Bear with me. Okay, maybe not use this one. Can't see it. All right, so next games, I believe they start on Thursday, March 26th. You have the Illini in a Sweet 16 versus number 2 Houston at 9:05. So not only can you watch your Cubs game, then you can go to the next bar or go home and watch Illinois play Houston. It's a 2-3 matchup at 9:05. That is going to be must-see TV. Let me know in the comments or in the DMs what you think Illinois is going to do. Do you think they are going to be a Final Four team? Do you think they can hang with Houston? Do you think they match up very well with them? Now, Houston, again, had in my opinion, a pretty easy road to get there. Pull up their stuff right here. Where am I at? All right. In the first round, they faced Idaho. They beat them by 31, and then they beat Texas A&M by 31 again. So they've had a pretty easy way in. Now, I'm not saying they're not a good team. They're ranked number 2 for a reason. Okay, they're ranked for number 2 for a reason, and their primary scorers. They got Uzan, Sharp, and Senek Jr. Those are you guys. Again, I don't know about the rest of you guys. I don't know who watches basketball all the way from September, October, all the way through March Madness. And most of us are watching December, January, February, and so forth. But then a lot of these guys make their names at the tournament. And this is how they get able to be drafted or thought of as a good draft pick. So we'll see who comes out of this. This will be fun to watch because the Bulls look like they're might have 2 picks in the first round if the Trailblazers continue to win and get into the playoffs. We might have 2 top 15 picks. So this will be huge for Chicago, and they're playing right now. Sorry, I'm stumbling my words. I'm doing 4 things at the same time. The Bulls are up 65-48 on the Rockets. That is not good news. That is not good news. So let me know what you guys think of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Let me know, do you think the Illinois team has what it takes to beat Houston this Thursday night? And how far can they go if they do beat Houston, right? Will they beat the Duke team? I don't think so. I do not think they can beat a Duke team if they end up facing them. So y'all let me know in the comments, and definitely we'll talk about that. All right, before I get out of here, again, I'm keeping this pretty brief today with no co-host today. Definitely keeping it brief. I just wanted to talk about a little bit of wrestling just before we get out of here. Maybe 5 minutes of wrestling. Wrestling's pretty good right now. Brock Lesnar's back. We've got Randy Orton turning heel on Cody Rhodes. You've got CM Punk cursing out or talking about Roman Reigns' father and beating him and putting him down in the dirt with his father. They've able to pivot a lot of the injuries that ended up happening on the roster and coming up with some good storylines weeks away from what looks like to be one of the worst selling WrestleManias. I think they're down like I don't know 20%, 25% or something like that in ticket sales. They lifted the ban because they put a ban on people having watch parties at these bars and other locations. So they lifted that. They lowered ticket prices like 16%, so able to get more stuff in, more fans to buy stuff. But I don't know how anybody else feels about. If you're a wrestling fan, how do you feel about wrestling being 2 days, WrestleMania being 2 days? And now every other pay-per-view, like the major pay-per-views, are 2 days. Your Survivor Series is 2 days. Your the SummerSlam is 2 days and so forth. And these large arenas where they're pricing the families out. It's like $300 just to get in the door. That's what it was when it was at the United Center for Elimination Chamber. It was ridiculous. I was like, I'm watching on TV. There's no way of doing that, right? There's a lot of things that are wrong with the signings. Like someone sent me the sign, like, hey, you're gonna see CM Punk at C2E2. I'm not paying $200 for a photo op plus paying to get in. And you figure out how many times you want a photo op or something autograph. That's $200 minimum for each person that you go see, whether it's wrestling or any other thing, whether it's anime or a show or whatever. No. This is getting out of control, and it's ridiculous. Wrestling tickets are way up, out of control, because they want to maximize the pay-per-view prices and so forth. Merch, it's like $50 a shirt now. 25 I thought was cool. 30 was like, all right, pushing it but decent. $50 for a shirt? No. We can find that way cheaper on some corner of the internet, and then I'll be just fine with that. But right now there's a lot of stuff going on with wrestling. You got Rhea Ripley, you've got Charlotte Flair, you've got a lot of cool storylines, and we'll see how that develops. It's going on right now. So as soon as I finish editing and uploading all this stuff, I'll watch some wrestling. But definitely it's something to watch. I know JC likes the old school wrestling and likes to talk about how they're not building any stars. They are building stars. They're building stars. It just takes 6 months to a year to 18 months to get somebody over, right? And it depends on their body of work, how fast they can work. Look at Dom Mysterio. That came up on my memories because I saw him at the Allstate Arena when he debuted with his dad, and they had a match there, and he's like clean cut and so forth. And it's like kind of a nostalgia fact, him being a Nepo baby and so forth. Now he's Dirty Dom. He's got his own identity. He's got his own faction. He's going to AAA to wrestle out there against Hijo de Vikingo, and he's on podcasts. He's doing his thing. And I'm so happy for it because he's definitely getting better on the mic. He's definitely getting those reps in. He's going to get a big push pretty soon. Okay. Look out for that. Look out for that. And you'll see what everyone's going to see is going to be Rey Mysterio retiring probably next year against his son. It has to be Dominic that retires Rey Mysterio. It can't be anybody else. All right. So look out for that. All right, that was my 5 minutes of wrestling. We'll talk about more wrestling next week, and we'll recap everything that happens in Chicago sports next week. So thank you guys for tuning in, for commenting, for supporting the show. So that'll be it for today. Thank you to our listeners for sticking with us through 297 episodes. We're about to hit 300 very, very soon. Thank you to our sponsor, 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans. And again, check us out on our socials. They're all this way, there. So follow our socials. All right. Share the clips, share the episode. All right, this is a quick one to watch. You're in and out in under 45 minutes. So on your drive to work, drive to work, from work, off to the second job, whatever you're doing to clean the house, or maybe if you're like Ivan, who's going to be putting up drywall, you can listen to the show and watch the show. Check us out on social media that are all there. Check us out, like I said, Facebook, IG, Spotify, iTunes for the podcast. If you're doing the audio version, YouTube, subscribe, hit that share button, and support us. If you got something you want to talk about, something that we missed, you want to argue about us, hit us up on the DMs. Hit us up at truechicagosportsfans@gmail.com. So none of the boys are here. So, so for everybody who's not here, I am Big Z, and we'll see you next time for episode 298. And until then, be good to each other for the love of sports.